Welcome to the TED Ed Podcast, where we delve into the issues that shape our daily lives and drive our productivity. We confront topics that matter deeply to all of us, from healthcare and affirmative action to voting rights and monetary success and failure. We cover it all. And yes, we dive into the complex world of politics, exploring how our country has evolved from slavery to the 21st century. Our content is crafted with care and expertise, drawing from years of experience in these critical areas. We invite you to give the TED Ed podcast a listen. You won't be disappointed. Share your thoughts with friends and confidants, and don't forget to like, comment, and share our episodes. Your engagement helps us grow and reach more listeners. Are you passionate about these topics? Do you have unique insights to share? You could be one of our guest speakers. Drop us a line, send an email, or leave a comment. All requests will be considered. Join us on this journey of exploration and understanding. This is the TED Ed Podcast. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
We can start the show anytime you're ready.
We got to get to going, man. We got a lot of things to talk about this evening, and shoot, man, it's so much stuff going on, man. I don't know how our president. I know he's old. I don't know how he's gonna be able to deal with all this stuff, man, that's happening. It's,
I tried to send you a picture of Trump and the head of the union.
Longshoreman Union.
Yeah, Trump. There was a picture of him in the longshoreman.
My wife saw it. She saw him on there hugging each other.
Didn't I tell you? Didn't I say it last show? I told you that Trump had that guy do that.
Well, this guy and stuff, I guess he doesn't realize that anytime Biden wants to stop this thing, he can stop it, and they have to go back to work.
Biden better jump on it, because this right here is ridiculous.
Yeah, he can stop it anytime. I think what he's doing and stuff, I saw this afternoon and stuff, one of the television stations and stuff had Buttigieg on. And he's the Department of Transportation Secretary. So part of his job and stuff is being in charge of them bringing the stuff in, and the longshoreman. They up under his department, and they were asking him, what should we do? Because the longer this thing goes on, the worse it's going to get. And we've already seen right now, and some places and stuff and everything. My son came home this morning and said that Kroger's store and stuff ran out of toilet paper, and they don't have any idea when they're going to be getting anything because of this strike and everything. Everything that they had in storage and everything, they've used all up because people that came in and bought everything up. So now they don't have any toilet paper. That's just the beginning. So he's going to have to do something. I don't think that this thing is going to last past this weekend. It can't. It can't, because there's so much stuff going on. Those people up there who in North Carolina and stuff and everything, man, they are still in bad shape. And then we still got people here in Georgia and stuff, man, that's still trying to recover from this mess. And there's people in Florida still trying to recover from that mess. And anything that they need to be brought in that they can use and everything, they need to have this stuff available and stuff for them. So I think when this stuff starts affecting the people who are being devastated and stuff and everything, I think the presidents, if they don't sell this stuff and they can't get these owners and stuff to sell it, they're going to sell it, and they're going to say, hey, y'all got to go back to work. But they've already told them that if they do go back to work, they're going to just do the bare minimum. They're not going to try to get everything they can and stuff out the door, all the containers. They said they are most of their work that they were doing, they are just getting stuff out. But they have
what they're doing? I'm going to tell you exactly what they're doing. They're going to work themselves out of a job.
True.
So, I mean, I understand that they want to stop the automation, but hey, Hey, we live in a new day now. There's a lot of people losing their jobs because of automation and AI and
Absolutely.
everything else. So,
Absolutely.
hey, you better find another career or something because, you got these people that's been there. They say a third of them, and
Mm-hmm.
those people that's been there for years,
Mm-hmm.
making $200,000 or more. You got the
Mm-hmm.
doggone head of their union making over 700,000.
Mm-hmm.
So so the thing is that they're not, and then you have the low end people. They say the lowest, I guess the minimum is like 49,000 or something like that. But the average minimum salary is like 91,000. So so the thing is, I mean, they not a lot of them not hurting, and they talking about 50,000 people. But they're gonna work themselves right out of a job, just like a lot of these other manufacturing people.
Well, that's probably been one of our problems and stuff here, Ted, even back in the 60s and 70s and stuff when the unions were so strong. They worked themselves out of a job and stuff. Their manpower has gone down quite a bit because of automation, robots coming in to take over making cars and producing all kinds of stuff and everything, producing steel. Well, you have to realize and stuff as a union person and stuff and everything that part of your job is to make sure that your company stays on its feet. And if you walk into negotiations with just one thing on your mind, you better give me what I want, or we're going to do what we want to do. You're not going to accomplish anything. At the negotiating table and stuff, everybody in that table should be open minded. And I think that if they brought in one of those national negotiators that came in with them to sit down and talk and negotiate this daggone thing, they can probably get by that because most negotiators who come in to help the unions and the companies and stuff with their strike, the first thing that they're going to tell them and everything is that we got to everything sitting down this table is open. We have an open mind, and if you guys come in here with preconceived conditions or what you got to have, you are not going to accomplish anything. And
They've already offered them 50% more pay increase.
I know what they offer them, and they turned it down because they're talking about that they want 77% over 5 years. Now that's a long time. 5 years is a long time, but there are other things, Ted, that you can talk about other than wages that they should be interested in stuff in as far as their health care. Where's that at? You not dealing, you want all you want is the money? You deal with your health care. Deal with
Retirement
with the
plan.
fact, yeah, the plan, or deal with your 401k plan, 401k plan, your retirement plan. Deal with all that stuff. Make that part of that $77,000 percent that you want. So you're gonna take 50, but you're gonna add another 27% and stuff into your retirement plan. How much you gonna get in your retirement? How much you gonna put in other things? And it doesn't matter about automation because whether they do or whether they don't, it is going to come. They can't stop it. You're not going to stop it. That is something that's going to happen. And I don't care if you negotiate anything, they can turn around and break that whole daggone thing and stuff and find a president that comes in after Biden goes or after Harris goes and stuff and say, hey, we're gonna break this daggone thing just like Ronald Reagan did with the air traffic controller. He broke them people. Some of our younger folks and stuff who watching this show and everything, they weren't around when Reagan did what he did, but that boy was ruthless. He told them, "I'm gonna break you air traffic controllers and stuff," and he broke them. So right now, you don't hear a mumbling word from any one of them because they still got memories of what he did to them, and a whole lot of people who were air traffic controllers lost their job. I mean, good paying job, and they some of them people and stuff are still got PTSD from that because that's what he said. Hey, we got to have you guys. These planes got to fly. And the same thing with this cargo coming into the United States and leaving out of the United States. This stuff got to come in and it's got to go out, or
And you
you're
got
going
a
to
lot of
ruin this country.
perishable goods, you got medication. All of that stuff is needed for the American people. And I can understand that they want more pay, but hey, sometimes, you got to negotiate because this ain't all about you. This is about the American people.
It's about the people. It's about those people that you are servicing, those items and stuff and everything that means life and death to people. Some of that stuff, like you said, medicine, that's life and death to people. You got to have it. Food, that's life and death. You don't have the food, you're going to die. I know that this knucklehead president and stuff you guys got and stuff for the Longshoreman Union, he got his own ulterior motives and stuff there. But if, as rank and file members, he has other locals and stuff and everything all along the East Coast. He ain't in charge of everything along the East Coast. If one of those locals say, "Hey, man, we got to stop this crap. We got to start bringing this stuff into our ports." If the Port of New Orleans say, "Hey, we don't care about you guys. We're going back to work. We're going to get this stuff into these people because they need it."
Well, wait a minute,
This
bro.
country's going
This ain't just about them. This is about the truck drivers too.
right. They can't. Well, like they said, some of those companies have already had those huge container ships and stuff to reroute them and stuff and everything to the West Coast. But you can't put all that pressure on Los Angeles, the Port of Los Angeles, to compensate for what's going on all along the East Coast and down around the Gulf. They can't compensate for all that. That's too much territory. And they've all, and I would almost bet that the Port of Los Angeles is so damn busy and stuff right now that it is unbelievable what those guys are doing, and they're putting more pressure upon them to get their cargo in. And then these truckers, man, they got to come in and truck this stuff across the country.
Well,
You
see,
look
that's what happened during the pandemic. You had the supply chain that was out there in the ocean. You had hundreds and hundreds of ships
of
full of
ships
stuff.
waiting to be unloaded. And like they said, some of that perishable stuff and everything, they can't leave that stuff out there that long. That stuff is going to rot. Like I said, I don't believe that this thing going to last past this weekend. Somebody's going to pop up and do something about it. They're going to either tell these owners and stuff that you're going to have to give these folks what they want, or you're going to have to sit down negotiating table. But I'd almost guarantee you that Biden's going to send somebody to the negotiating table with them and get them to do something and everything to get this thing settled, because they cannot allow this thing to go on too much longer.
Well,
Anyway,
let's move on, bro. Let me just say this. I was looking at, they always talk about that 45 had a great economy. That's not, he had a great economy. Okay, we know the first year he was living off of President Obama. But here's the thing, though, bro, and I'm gonna combine the two. You had quantitative easing, prime rate 1%. So people were still able to get loans, get low interest mortgages for 3 years. For 3 years, they was able to do that. And the thing is that when you right now, the prime rate is right now is 8%. So the thing is that there are people right now. The reason why housing people are not buying homes is because the interest rate is so high. The reason why people are not doing business and opening up new businesses or expanding is because the interest rates are so high. They took it down 50 basis points, but the bottom line is he needs to take it down even further. And the reason why they took it up is because of Trump average budget every year he went over $800 billion. That's his average. That's the reason why when he left office, he left with a deficit of $8 trillion. And his tax breaks gave the rich and the multi-millionaires and the corporation, gave them 1.7 tax breaks, $1 trillion. Now, when you do that, what happens is that it causes inflation. And then the pandemic came, which he didn't handle very well. So, and a lot of other things that he did that he didn't handle well. His promises on the manufacturing, he lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs. He sit up there and lie about what he did, but the point is he was living off of that quantitative easing. And then that's when the federal government came in and said we gotta curtail this inflation because the inflation. Then you had the real bad thing is that when you had that supply chain, that was cut off, and they was having problems already before it even started.
It's hard, Ted, to get the average American to think past right now or a year behind them. We can because we're constantly thinking about what's going on. We're reading about what's going on in our country. But I can see why most people forget about what the heck happened. We forget that he had a strike, a shutdown. He shut down the government, man, for 45 days. You know,
And that really
and
hurt us.
every day that the country was down, that the economist said was costing this country $2 or $3 billion for every day that they're down. And they were down for 45 days before they finally put the government back on. Then on top of that, like you just said, he gave them the corporation that huge tax cut. So there was a 1 point some $trillion and stuff that did not reach the U.S. Treasury. And then like you said, you had the COVID came up just about the end of his tenure and stuff. COVID popped up,
Don't forget about
and
his overspending the budget.
and they had, because of COVID, that he had shut down his whole country. Matter of fact, the whole world was shut down, but they shut down his country as well. But then after they thought that they going to have to get this thing back going, they had to stimulate the daggone economy because there was a whole lot of people and stuff, Ted, that didn't have anything. All these businesses and stuff and everything, they had lost big money. They were shut down. They couldn't keep going. So they put some stimulus and stuff there, some money into the economy. That cost the Treasury a lot of money. Then when Biden came in, he had to continue to do that, dump that money into the economy to stimulate it, to get everybody back going so they wouldn't lose all these jobs out there. So it's a problem that most people forget about it, because just like me, as this thing going on, there's so much stuff going on ahead of us and what's going on now that it's easy to forget about what happened behind us. And I think Trump is playing on that in his campaigning. He's playing on that to his audience.
Yeah, people
Are
have
you
a
are you
very
better off?
short.
Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Where most
People
people
have
don't
a
even
very
realize
short
what's going
memory.
on 4 years ago.
Very short memory. The man only ran the country really about a year and a half. That's it. That's it. A year and a half. That's all he ran the country with. And and he messed up on that because it was always kind of some stupid stuff that he did. He cut the Iranian deal with President Obama had set up regarding the nuclear situation. Now they say they're about 2 weeks away, of finishing it in
Mhm.
the nuclear program.
And don't forget about what TPP, the
Oh yeah, that just
Trans-Pacific.
went out and just gave people money.
He gave that away, man. He gave that away. That was that would have been a boom, man, for our society. That free trade going between all these countries and stuff and everything back and forth, just like we got going on now with Mexico and Canada, which is very profitable right now. But he let that TPP go and threw it out the way. And after Obama had negotiated all that stuff for them, I mean, can you imagine, man, what kind of trade and stuff we could have had with that TPP? You talking about almost all of the Pacific Rim countries and stuff and everything. They could trade with us back and forth without any problems at all, just like they're doing right now with Mexico and Canada.
Well, that was the
It'd have been a
original
boom.
goal that President Obama was trying to do, to lift up all tides around the world. That was his goal. There's a book called Capital that's out. I mean, that thing is about 3 inches, 4 inches thick. And man, I'm gonna tell you, they could do a breakdown on every country, GDP, employment, and everything. And there's a lot of poor countries out there, but there's a lot of countries that are looking to be really, they want to be free, and they don't want to be controlled by these.
Oh, you just popped up.
What?
The longshoremen, they shut the strike down.
Really? Already?
They just shut the strike down. It just popped up, man. They just shut the strike down.
Who shut it
I don't know, but they said they shut it down until January. They just shut it down. It just popped up across my screen there because I have notifications coming. They shut the. I told you it couldn't last man past this weekend. They shut that thing down. They shut it down, stopped it, said we're going back to work. It just popped across my screen. We just got through talking about that. They stopped it. They said they're going to wait until January. They opened the porch back up, man. I told you they couldn't handle this. It's too much. There's too much stuff going on. I know Biden probably called him up, man, and said, hey, y'all got to get this stuff together here. They stopped the strike, man. Oh, man. Shoot. Now I can get toilet paper.
You get some paper towels.
I get no, man. Get the paper towel. Can't use no paper towel to think too hard on me.
Hey, I'm gonna switch gears here. I'm gonna do one more segment.
Go ahead.
You know, a lot of people, and I think a lot of people might know this, and some people don't. But Black Americans in this country, we make over $1.7 trillion, almost $2 trillion. That's about 8th or 9th in the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not only that, Ed, but the total economic impact of Black America on the U.S. economy, consumer spending is 1.4, business revenue is 1.5 trillion. We're talking trillions. Black-owned business, 150 billion. But here's the indirect impact, and this is what I've been saying, and I think we did a show on this. The impact of economic impact that we generate along with our partners, I mean, other races, groups of people, and what have you. Entertainment industry, 10 billion. Film and TV production, 20 billion. Sports, 50 billion. Tourism, 40 billion. Fashion and beauty, 30 billion. Food and beverage, 20 billion. Culture events, 5 billion. Festivals and concerts, 2 billion. Sports and events, 10 billion. This is, so even though our economic impact is anywhere between 2.5 and 3.5 trillion dollars. Now think about that. Our national, right now, our
Is
national
that per year or what?
GDP,
Is
our
that per,
national GDP is about $20 trillion, and we impact at least $4 to $5 trillion
is that per year or what?
per year.
Per year, okay. Because I was wondering, is that per year or per month or what? I didn't know.
No, this is per year,
You
bro,
know,
because our GDP
I'm
is
just asking.
total. Our GDP is 20 trillion, and so we're impacting anywhere between $4 and $5 trillion. That's how valuable we are in this country, and we're not appreciated. We generate a lot of money to keep this country going. Now they talking about throwing away or letting go these immigrants or these new people that's coming into this country. Hey, they probably generate about five. They probably generate about a trillion themselves.
Just possible.
Well,
And,
look,
and
all of these, look, all of these immigrants that's coming here, they might be undocumented, but if you look at, if you go and you do a thing, all these little small towns, like they might only have 1,500 people, 2,000 people, 5,000 people, 40,000 people, and they put new immigrants in there, undocumented or people that they're allowed to come in there. They generate money because businesses start opening up and they hire and then they grow. The American people in this country is old, bro. They don't have the workforce. Right now, there are 10 million jobs that is open right now that needs to be filled.
but we, as a country, Ted, as I said before, that you have those negative folks out there who are bringing this bad talk in. You have these campaigners coming out now talking about we got these crazy folks crossing the border. They are coming over here to kill us.
That's
And
a
people
wedge issue,
and
bro.
people and these
That's
fools
a
are
grift.
believing this stuff. I
That's
know
a
it's a myth.
grift.
I know it's a myth, but
It's a
these
grift.
fools are
They
believing this
gripping.
stuff. I'm telling you, Ted, if they stop these folks from flowing across these borders and stuff and everything, California would not be our vegetable breadbasket. You couldn't get anybody to come over there and pick them vegetables, them cabbages out the field. All that food come out the field and stuff is because those immigrants are coming across that border. You couldn't get these farmers here in Georgia to survive if they didn't have these folks coming across the border and picking their peanuts and their cotton and they peaches out of the trees and the pecans and stuff out the trees. This state
Well,
would
it's
go
more than that.
bankrupt. This state
It's
would go
more than that, bro.
bankrupt.
It's more than that. Because a lot of these, let me tell you something. A lot of black folks, they don't want to be working on meat packs.
You
They
ain't gonna
want to
get
be
no
working
black
on
folks
meat
out
packs,
there picking no cotton no
cutting meat
more.
all day.
We ain't picking no cotton no more. But they're living off of these folks and stuff, Ted. You see these people and stuff and everything right now running up on the top of our roofs of our houses, putting new roofs on and everything in less than 24 hours. We got a whole new roof on the house. The people are going up there doing that stuff, man, and these folks, man, who crossing that daggone border and making these white contractors a lot of money. You can put on a roof in 24 hours, and most of those roofs, man, is $15,000, $20,000 for a roof. And they paying these people pennies, nickels and dimes to get on that roof. They might be out of $3,000 or $4,000 paying that. The other $15,000 going in these folks' pockets. They're making these folks rich again. They got their new slaves out there, Ted. The new slaves is coming in.
Come on, bro. Don't insult our ancestors.
Yes, I am. I got to say it.
You insulting our ancestors.
I got
man.
to
These
say it,
people,
man. I got to
they
say
getting
it.
paid. They getting paid.
But they getting paid pennies, Ted.
Pennies.
Pennies, nickels and dimes. That's what they paying them.
Well, I mean, some of them making $300, $400 a week, bro.
What?
Some of
How
these
much?
doggone roofers making $300, $400, $500 a week. What are you talking about?
$300, $400, $500 a week.
$300 to $400, maybe $500 a week. A lot of them. You do.
That ain't no money.
We know that, but that's not the issue. The issue is they're getting paid. You are insulting our ancestors.
No, I'm not insulting them.
Yes, you are, because we didn't get paid.
I'm not insulting anybody because they are
and they go to a nice trailer or a nice little.
When they had when our ancestors now who were slaves and stuff, Ted, they had to have some money too. They had to have food. They had to have everything. They had to be
They
fed.
paid them $1 a day.
Clothes. They had to have clothes.
They paid them $1 a day.
Oh, but back then, Ted, $1 a day might have been $200-$300 nowadays. that was with 1700, 1800s. You know, that they had $2 a day too, man. Just like $200, $300.
Hey, master, I saved all my money.
Yes,
I
sir.
want to find my freedom.
Yes,
boy,
sir.
You saved $800? Here it is, right here, master. I'm just saying, bro.
They's running away, master. They running away. Oh man, but anyway, Ted, how do we capitalize on this $1 trillion that's coming through our neighborhoods every year?
Well, we are capitalizing, but the thing is, we got to expand. What it is that it's so many people want to get in entertainment, sports, and that kind of thing, you know. And a lot of people are expanding. You know, they're getting their engineering degree and they're doing all of that, starting up, doing startups and all that kind of thing. However, we got to expand more. And then the thing is, you got to build major corporations that's going to last not for 2, 4, 5 years and then sell out or go bankrupt. You got to build. And then you are hiring and training other Black people. And that's the issue right now. Capitalism is about building and then having something that lasts 100, 200 years, 50 years, and making profit. You have to make profit. You got to be out there selling your wares. Whatever you're doing, whether you are a software engineer, whether you are whatever kind of business you got, you have to build and grow. You can't just because, okay, now I got me a nice little contract with 3 or 4 companies and you making a couple of $1 million. That ain't enough. That ain't enough. Some people got to grow and build major corporations. Have you ever looked? I'm sure you have. Have you ever looked at the Black business top 100 businesses?
The top Black 100 businesses?
Yeah.
No, I haven't really looked at those yet.
I'm telling you, bro. I mean, the thing is that it's sad. It's sad. It's not that good. But there are people that's doing very good. There's a lot of companies and corporations, black owned, that's doing billions and billions of dollars of business. But the point is, it's not enough. It's not enough. And that's how you build. And it's a lot of powerful Black businesses all over the country that's got 4 or 5, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 employees. But it's got to be better. It's got to be more. And we're not doing it. You know, I'm not saying that we're not doing it. I think that the opportunities have to come up. And I think with this initiative that Vice President Harris wants to do, this is going to incentivize a lot of people, hopefully, that they can come up with, because there ain't nothing new under the sun. Everything is just duplicated, triplicated, all of that. You know, there's all kind of, same kind of business, but you got to get your market share. And right now, the competition is heavy, and you got to compete. A lot of black folks got to compete. You can't use no excuses. This is what I tell my son every time. There is no excuses. You got to keep popping, no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, they say no, go to the next. Go to the next.
Now, all these folks and stuff, Ted, who listen to what candidate Harris, Vice President Harris, had to say, I hear you saying the same thing. Yes, she got a good idea. But when it comes time, she becomes the presidential candidate and she becomes, when they vote, electoral college, gets in office, into the White House, we're going to be expecting her to do what she said she was going to do.
You got to give her the house, bro.
We got to expect her to do what she said she was going to do.
You got to
Because
give her the house.
you know what happens. You know what happens. People get into that job and everything, and they tend to forget what they promised the American people. And next thing you know, they're 2 years and going by, 3 years and going by, and we still haven't got it. And then we start blaming her and stuff for, you promised us this, you promised us that, and you didn't give it to us.
You got to give her the house, Ed.
Anytime.
And the Senate.
Anytime that the federal government gets involved in anything, most of the time they're not giving these people that cash. The parents and stuff who have these children that come in and they said, we're going to give you $6,000 for your child. Most of the time it's not coming as money in their pocket right then. It comes in tax time. That's when they get it.
I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Then we got $25,000 that they're going to give for first-time home buyers. Where that 20? Huh?
25,000, yeah. 25,
that's what I said. $25,000 they're going to give them for first-time home buyers. Now, where does that money come from? It comes from when you file your taxes at the end of the year, that you got $25,000 that you can take off of your taxes and stuff, and that's how you get your $25,000. Now, the businesses and stuff and everything that she said, we're going to give you $50,000 to start up a new business and everything. Are they going to get that $50,000 in cash in their hand, cash in fist?
Ed.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
If you ever started a business, you are allowed to write off. So what she's saying is that you can write off.
Okay. Then we need to make that clear to our audience. It's $50,000, people, is for, like Mr. Harvey just said, either write off, write down, or if you don't write it all down and stuff and everything for that 1 year, at tax time come around, when you file your taxes and everything, you get to take off the rest of that money that you didn't write down.
Yeah, because that means what you're doing
is
you're starting a legitimate.
That's the point that I want to make.
A legitimate business. You ain't starting no little.
That's the point that I want to make to the people out there who are listening to this stuff. It ain't no cash money coming in your hand, people. So don't be beating up Kamala when that $25,000 didn't hit your pocket.
I ain't getting no money.
Or the $6,000 don't hit your pocket because of that child. You did get it. You were going to get it, but they give it to you in different ways. They don't. It's not a direct deposit into your checking account. But that's
Well, if
what
you
most
don't have
folks.
that kind of, if you
That's
don't
what
have
most
that
folks
kind of,
gonna be thinking, Ted. You know that they're gonna be
if
thinking,
you don't
"Oh,
have
you
that kind
didn't
of
give me my
knowledge, and if you don't have that kind of
$50,000.
wherewithal, you ain't got no business starting no business. And
You
then
didn't give me
before
my
you know
$50,000. Yes, you did. You got it. You just don't realize you got it, or you didn't take advantage of it, or you didn't file your taxes and stuff so you can take advantage of that. Because a lot of times you get to them small businesses, especially black folks, they don't file them taxes at the end of the year. They just keep on going. Well, you missing out on that $50,000 because you didn't file your taxes. Do and I'm finding this out, Ted. You got all these folks out there who got their little businesses and stuff going on, mom and pop businesses or whatever out there going on, especially in our community.
way over 1 million people
We
got a
we
one
don't.
man, two
They
man
got
business.
they working little jobs. They bringing in cash businesses and stuff and everything, and they don't file taxes at the end of the year.
Well,
You
that's
don't. If you don't do that, you're gonna miss out because I don't care how old you are. You're going to retire. That means if you can pay into that system, you don't get any Social Security. You don't get no Medicare. It ain't coming to you. And I know this because I had firsthand experience out there with my uncle. He did not, I had to tell him before, right before, 4 years before he got to the retirement age, I said, you ain't filing taxes. I don't need to do that. I said, yes, you do. If you want to get Medicare, you want to get Social Security, you got to file taxes. You got to pay FICA like everybody else when they get their check. That FICA, you got to file it. If you don't get it, that's what goes into your Social Security. That's what goes into your Medicare. That's how you get it. But most of us, Ted, don't realize that. And I see a lot of them out there, my little friends and stuff out there. I see folks out there, hard working people, man. Black folks hard working. But every year, they just keep on working every year. They don't go out there and file them taxes. They take that underground money and keep on going. Another thing that I wanted to say, as these folks are crossing this border and they coming over here, Ted, and whatever they doing over here, guess what else they doing?
what?
They paying taxes.
Oh yeah.
They paying taxes. If they in this country, they paying taxes. You paying sales tax. They paying taxes into our system, taking care of your local governments. If they got a telephone bill, or if they got a cell phone bill, or if they buying a TV set, if they buying a computer, if they buying a laptop, they paying what? Sales tax, which is coming into our coffers, whether it's the local government or the federal government. They paying taxes into our system.
Yeah.
Why are you people upset about this?
Well, here's the thing, and they have, and maybe it might be true, it might not be true. I don't know because I don't experience that because I'm not out there like I used to be. But a lot of people saying that they're flooding the cities.
So
They're flooding the city, and the cities can't accommodate their needs. Like if you got a school that only has 1,000 students, and now all of a sudden you got another 500, 600 students.
they paying the taxes, Ted.
I
They paying,
understand that, but
if they in that, they paying property tax, which takes care of the schools.
well, what I'm saying is this: is that we as the government, in my opinion, they need to realize that you can't, just like when you remember when they dropped all those something like 77,000 people in New York. They did the same thing in Chicago. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
They just kept on busing all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Now the thing is that these people need jobs. They need a place to stay. Their kids need to go to school, all of those things. But here's the thing. The local government is the ones that has to deal with those expenses to
No,
try
they
to get
don't.
these people on their feet.
If once they, most of them, Ted, once they get in here, they're gonna start working. They're gonna start contributing to our economy. They're gonna
If
have
you
a
come in
job.
there with a $0 in your pocket,
It doesn't matter. You gonna. It's just like when you go to work and everything. It takes you 90 days before you secure your job, and you say, "Well, I'm gonna be at this job." The people say, "Well, you on probation." That's what they are. They on probation, and then once that 90 days come up, they're gonna start paying into that daggone system and paying
well, I
back
agree. I
what
mean,
they
I'm just
get.
saying that sometimes you can overload, and I'm saying that the government needs to be able put these people where, and I mean, a place like Chicago and New York, you got a lot of stuff going on. You got a lot of things going on, and so therefore the opportunities might be a little bit better. But if, let's say you go to a town, there's hundreds of towns that they can go to lift those towns up. There's a lot of towns right now in this country that's dying out.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying is that they need to uh, really navigate these people in certain places where they're needed.
Okay. So what's wrong with the local governments and stuff doing that?
That's what I'm saying. They're not doing
But but
it.
but 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 they got the opportunity to do it. They have the opportunity to do that. Just like them folks, and just like the governor of Florida brought them up here on a bus and dropped them off. What's stopping the city of New York from taking them and putting them back, calling up them states, calling up them cities around the state? Do you need people up here to work? Do you got a place for these folks to be at? Yep. Take them right up there to where they're supposed to be at and
I
let them
agree.
sit there.
I
Or
agree.
they can, just like the federal government did, just like Trump did and everything, he put their butts back on the goddamn plane. And I'm sorry, people, excuse my French, and send them back to their country. that
Well, I'm
that
just
that
saying,
eliminate.
they need to.
Yeah, right.
The point is, immigrants are needed in certain places, and they need to place these people where they're needed.
Absolutely. I believe it.
Everybody can't live in New York. Everybody can't live in Chicago. Everybody can't live in San Francisco. Everybody can't live in these big cities.
Absolutely. So we can solve that immigration crisis right here. Just listen to the Ted Ed show. We gonna tell y'all guys how to how to how to solve these problems here that's coming across the border. Because I guarantee you, everybody coming across the borders ain't crooks, and they ain't thieves, and they ain't murderers, and they ain't rapists. They come across here to work so they can take care of their families back in their little country where they came from. If they came from Venezuela or wherever, Nicaragua, wherever they came from, El Salvador, even if they came from Mexico, they sending money
The
back, take
only
care of their
thing
family.
here's my taboo. I guess you would call it a taboo. Respect black people. These immigrants need to respect black people. Because if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have these freedoms. Our ancestors, not necessarily for me and you. We didn't go through all of that. We went through a little bit of it, but not all of it, what they went through. So respect the history. Respect black folks. Because we fought for civil rights
But
and human rights.
and we have to
And we still
respect,
fighting.
and we have to respect ourselves in the same way. I need to be respected. I'm gonna respect myself. I'm gonna do what I have to do. I'm not gonna lose my history. I'm not gonna let people take away the books that my child is supposed to be reading and stuff in school. Because if they ain't getting it in school, then I better put it in my house. Every book that they took out of these schools in Florida, if those parents are about anything, there is no way I would let them take them books away. If you took them away, I'm gonna buy that book and put it right in my house so my child can read that book. Here it is, you got access to it. If my neighbor's kid want access to it, I'm gonna give them access and everything and stuff to it, because there's all kind of ways to skin a cat. Okay, he could come over there and have all of the kids in the neighborhood stop by the house. We're gonna all sit down and read that daggone book that they done banned out of these schools. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sit down. Up, come on, everybody, come on over. We're gonna look at this book, or we're gonna get an audio book of it, or we're gonna sit down and listen to it and everything. What's going on in that book, and we're gonna talk about this daggone thing, because if they ban that book out of their school, they ban it out for a reason, because they don't want you to have it. And most of the time, when people want to take something away from you, they got a reason for doing that, because they want to control your mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So there's a way around that. You take a book, I'm gonna buy my kid a book. Or the next door neighbor, he can buy a book. A neighbor down there, he buy a book. So we all
Because
got the books.
even though there are a lot of good teachers out there that want to teach those types of things, there are people that deliberately want to sabotage your learning.
They want to control your mind. That is a form of control. And they have no right to tell me what I can't let my child read. That should be up to me. That should be up to me to find out, not the government. Just like they're talking about the women's bodies, the same thing goes with the controlling those books that come into our children's minds. Why are you sitting there trying to control what my children can read? If that teacher, you hired that teacher, him or her, to teach, then you should allow them to teach. You trusted them. You trusted them to hire them. Let them teach the child.
And
now, if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, get rid of the teacher, not the books.
I agree.
Let me get off my high horse. Final words, Ted. Oh, man, wait a minute. Hold it. We got to say, I got to speak about the Middle East.
What?
The Middle East.
Okay, go ahead.
Since I started talking about old Benny and what
BB.
the heck BB, whatever his name, BB. I'm sorry, BB. I had to go back and look, man, and see and get me a small history and stuff on the Middle East. And the best way I thought about how to do it and stuff, I said, I'm going to get me a map of the Middle East. Any of you all out there, if you got a little spare time, Google the map of the Middle East and look at those little small countries and see what the heck going on. Here I am thinking that they are fighting these people and stuff, and Israel, if you look at their territory that they have, it's kind of screwed up. It really is. A lot of their territory and stuff doesn't even have a road in it. It's out in the desert, and they don't have. They're fighting over, just like we were just talking about earlier. They're fighting over scraps and everything. They ain't fighting over nothing. Gaza doesn't have anything. They got a little bitty piece of land, man, that's right along the Mediterranean Sea. Little bitty piece of land. And they're trying to beat these people up over this little piece of land. It ain't worth fighting for. I don't know why they over there bother the people.
Well,
you look at those countries and stuff there in that Middle East and everything, and Iran is supposed to be the big dog around there. Hell, when they sent them missiles from Iran, guess where they came from? They came from Iran. So the damn missiles had to fly over Iraq and Jordan to get to that little piece of land that the Israelis and stuff is occupying. It doesn't make tactical or strategic sense.
This is a religious war, brother.
It doesn't make strategic or tactical sense.
I know that, but it's a religious war.
But it's a war that none of them are going to win.
Well, you tell that to the stupid people that's doing it.
I would tell them. I would sit down and tell them, this is a war you can't win. There's no strategic sense in what you are doing. None. Even if it's a holy war. They've been fighting that thing since what? BC. Before Christ. 2,000 some years they've been fighting this crap. It's unwinnable. When are you going to realize to give it up and figure out something else? Go ahead.
Well, no, I don't really have nothing to say about it because I know it's just a religious war. It goes back in the biblical time.
But they're going to get our country involved in this mess.
The only thing I'm going to say in the last...
Now, oh man, there's so much going over there in the area because the Ukraine and stuff is not too daggone far away from that Middle East area and stuff there, where Russia is fighting them all over that stuff and everything. And it's got to be a damn mess over there, man. It is just, don't bring us. They're going to drag us into this bull crap. That's what I'm afraid of. Old BB going to drag us into that mess. And we got to come over there. And that's why he's doing that crap.
Did we just send 40,000 people over there?
Who?
We just sent 40,000 military people over
there. As I just said, they're going to drag us into this war. Again.
Well, this is so deep, man. It's so deep that we don't really comprehend all the nuances of what's going on. It's more than just religion too. It's territory, it's economics, and then it's culture. All of that is involved in their differences. Mm-hmm. And then it's about, there are people that get along with different ethnic groups, but there are people that just hate each other. Because they have family members, generations of family members that have gotten killed. So the animosity is so strong, it's so deep. It is, how would you, if you got family members that a mama, a father, brothers, sisters, been killed, and you 5 years old, 10 years old, you grow up. So that's all the thing, man. It's deep, man. It's so much trauma there that it's just, I don't know if it's fixable. The hate is just real, bro.
I truly believe that there have been a lot of strong leaders here in the United States, presidential leaders. You're talking Clinton, a whole bunch of them are very, very, very strong American presidents, and they have not been able to stop that crap that's going on over there. It's man, it's
only thing you can try to do is maintain the violence.
That's probably the only thing is, you just contain it as close as you can. Keep it contained so you don't get a whole region and shit stuff involved in that mess and stuff, because you got, man, Saudi Arabia is so daggone close to them daggone people. Jordan is right there. Egypt, right there. All those countries sitting there around there. Before you even get to Iran, you got Iraq sitting there. You got Lebanon sitting there. You got Syria sitting there.
Well, their Iran is really ran by a religious group, and that's the
And
difference. And same thing with pretty much
yeah, well,
Israel.
all of them are ran by religious groups. Even Saudi Arabia, they ran by religious groups, even though they got their own kings and princes or
Well,
whatever they
that's the
got going
difference.
on.
And then you got to look at what Saudi Arabia. What are their main resources?
Oil. But
There you
now
go.
they've expanded out. Now they've left oil alone. Their money and stuff is in the financial thing. They're into acquiring
Because they done
people.
made so much, they done made trillions of dollars. They
Absolutely,
can do that. But
absolutely.
Israel, what do they have?
Israel is sitting there totally dependent upon the United States to keep them going.
Everybody. All their exports and imports, their imports is coming from America or coming
Right,
from other countries.
right.
Because
They
I
are
mean, what
totally
do they
dependent.
have?
That's why I said earlier. What are you fighting for? You fighting over scraps. You better off giving the land up and just walking away from it. That's because Jerusalem is sitting right there, and you guys trying to control it. It's a holy ground or whatever. Oh, man, I don't know.
Well, here's my last thing before we
Go
close.
ahead.
The federal budget in 2019, we received 4.1 in revenue, $1 trillion, and he ran, and I'm talking about 45, ran a deficit up to 984 billion, almost $1 trillion. And he did the same thing the next year. So what I'm saying is the man just overspent. He didn't care. Now where did that money go? I have no idea. I know he jacked up the military to a certain degree, but that was only a couple of $100 billion, $3 billion. But some of that money, man, he just he, that's the reason why we was in the shape we was. He tore this country down, and they getting ready to try to put him back in there. He should be in jail.
Well, that's right. That's another thing we have not talked about and stuff that we should have. That I said there's a lot going on. Supreme Court and what they did with him. Jack Smith and stuff, who was a federal prosecutor. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on and stuff out there, and I don't know, man. I wanted to talk about the vice presidential debate and everything. We didn't get a chance to talk about that, uh, but I do
Oh, that was a
want just.
joke.
I
That was a joke, Ed. The
huh?
man was just lying, 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 lying.
Ted, we got to have at least a couple of minutes or so to talk about. We ain't got that. We over. But
Okay.
anyway, we have
Saturday
to.
we talk about it. It's a little
Anyway,
bit
we
too
can talk.
late, but I mean, I'm
That's
just
our
saying.
Saturday. That'll be the first topic that we talk about Saturday. Now, uh, again, people, you got to vote. You got one vote. I'm gonna tell you how to vote, but you got one vote. Go out there and vote. Do that. Do that, folks. Go out there and vote. Go out
34
there and vote.
million black people can vote.
Go out there and vote. You folks, go out there and vote. I don't care. Make it a point in your mind to go out there and vote. Now, if you want to vote for that orange or the purple headed man, whenever you get ready, then that's your responsibility. You're gonna have to live with that. That's the burden you're gonna have to carry. And it's gonna be difficult and stuff for us, but I guarantee you, whatever happens and stuff, we're gonna make this. We're gonna make it through, no matter what. We got to make it through, and I'm not giving up like everybody else. If that orange son of a gun get in there, Ed gonna be crying for a month. You gonna see me shed tears right on this channel for a whole month until I can get over it. If that orange head son gonna make it in there, you're gonna see a grown man cry right here on your own channel. But I'm gonna make it through. some kind of way. So please, people, go out there and vote. I'm hoping that, and don't listen to them damn polls. They don't mean nothing. They don't mean nothing. And anytime you see them fools sitting out there talking about the poll said this and the poll said that, and the next day the poll said this, and the next day the poll said that, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. So just make it in your mind and go out there and vote. Forget about what the polls say. Ah, man. Ted, are we about done here, brother, or what?
We done, bro.
We done. We see you people next time. Bye.